Okay, so we left off the last video, last class. We just managed to pull the ears out and pull the neck out. So I'm just going to do a little bit of work on that. Right, we don't really have to do a lot. We're just trying to rough in features here, like we mentioned before. So yeah, what about BCB clay buildup? I just noticed that this needs to probably get built up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time here just kind of cleaning the stuff up just a little bit. Oh, that's a mask. I want Alt. It's reasonably early in the morning, so I might be going quiet. Yeah. So anyway, that was the nose. Well, just because I saw it and I don't really like the shape of what I've got here, so that's why I thought I would come in here and try and do something about it first. That happens, just get bothered by things and then, yeah, anyway. All right, still don't like it. Something wrong with this nose shape that MV. Yeah, whatever. Okay, BCB, play buildup. So maybe I'll start with the ear a little bit. So I'm just shift drag and then shift P to bring in my, oh yeah, sorry. So what we've got to do is go to brush, auto masking, and make sure your backface masking is on. Backface masking is gonna make sure that when we do thin surfaces like the ears, that we don't pull the back faces through the front. Those will make holes in our geometry. So we want to make sure that the back of the ear stays the back and the front stays the front. We don't want to sort of intersect them. So that's going to help with that back face masking. Okay, so what I might do is just start to indicate where my ear is going to be here. Just going to check stuff out here. So yeah, we're a little bit off, I guess, but that's fine. We can build this up. I noticed that here this whole ear bit is not quite right. So I'm in the clay buildup. I'm going to size the brush down a bit. I'm going to try putting in some raised areas here. So yeah, just trying to kind of put in where the bumps and whatnots are going to be. So that's like the ear thing here. So let's just fill that in a little bit, and it goes down there a little bit. This is high. I can hold down Alt and I can maybe carve away some of this. So we're just kind of trying to trim and indicate where things go. And in here I could maybe even just go with like BST, that's the standard brush, because it is pretty smooth here. So if I just kind of pull this area up, just kind of try and do that a little bit. Yeah, shift P. So it's coming in pretty slowly. BCB, back to clay buildup. Build this area up a bit more. I know this needs to come in a bit more. Push this in, so Alt, create like an ear hole in there. And Control drag to re-dynamesh that. So we're just trying to carve away areas. build up areas. Need a smaller, maybe a Damien standard, so BDS Damien standard to just kind of push those areas in. So maybe I'll bring this image back and just use the Damien standard to kind of cut in here, kind of indicate where this is going to be cut. Yeah, it's all kind of sticking out quite a bit. I'm going to carve away the back of the ear. So BCB, oops, what's that? Okay, BCB. And let's size the brush up, and we're going to need to kind of carve this away. So Alt. I'm going to keep carving this out. Carve it away. Carve it away. Dig away behind the ear here. Let's size this down a bit. Oh, just working away. Probably fast forward through a bunch of this. So there's not much to this really. I'm just going to be kind of carving away at this ear and just trying to rough it in. I don't need a lot of detail. So we'll just maybe suspend the video for a little bit, and I'll just work on this some, get in shape, and then I'll come back in a few minutes and we'll see where we are. So let me pause out. Okay, well, yeah, so I spent a few minutes on this. It's a little bit off, but whatever, it's all right. So Shift P, Shift P, thank you. So I just put in a little bit of that, right? It's just a bit of detail in there, kind of dug at it and tried to get it to kind of shape. But with the amount of resolution I have on the Dynamesh, that's about as much detail as I'm going to be able to put in. So again, it's just indicating structure, trying to get the form and the volumes in. And then once we get everything roughed in, we'll switch it into a 3D model, and we'll add, we can go in and we can add as much detail as we want. But for now, with the Dynamesh, every time I control drag to reDynamesh, I'm going to lose a little bit of detail unless I go into Geometry, Dynamesh. It's at 128, and I'm at 313,000 points. So that's not exactly a lot. I could potentially go from 128 to 256 on my res. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it at 128. This is the level of detail we want to just rough in. I'm going to now jump and do the neck and try and get a bit of the neck and a bit of the shoulder blades done. So if I bring this back to the front, Shift P to show the image, right, you can see that we need to put a little bit of this trapezius in, and we need the sternocleidomastoid and the Adam's apple and things like that. This wattle bit of hangy skin that he's got. So again, I'm probably going to go in the side view. I'm going to get my clay build-up brush, nice and big. Make sure your symmetry is on. And I'm just going to here, it's not exactly in the right spot. It should be from behind the ear a little bit, but we can see that this is going to be kind of the neck muscle here. And then right here, I can see that's where they've got the trapezius going, and then of course all this has got to get carved away, and the stuff at the back is going to get carved away. So let me just tumble to the front and see what that did for me. So you can see I pulled it out, but it's way off, right? It needs to be pushed in. As well, it's kind of hard to see the image, so maybe what I'll do is what if I go into the draw menu? Yeah, so enhance factor here. Right, if I make that a bit all the way up to 1, it's going to give me a little more transparency so I can see what's going on here. So that needs to be pushed in now that I've pulled that out. So it looks like it's too far out. So BMV for the move brush probably needs to be pretty big. And I just need to push this neck in. And then we need to check it. So Shift P, still kind of way off here. That's got to go way in, way in. That's the shoulder, so that I'm just going to pull down a little bit. Now, this is really mucked up here in the front, but I'm just trying to get this muscle in on whatever angle it needs to be in here. And then we know the back here needs to come out because that's where the trapezius muscle comes off, right? It's coming off the back of the neck here. So we can kind of see that coming off. Oops, snapping. Yeah, look at that. Gross. Side view, I'm going to show you a new thing. To use a trim curve. So let me bring the image back. So yeah, so pretty obvious that the neck needs to be carved back, and then same for the back here. We need to get that curvature in. We could just carve it away with the clay buildup, you know, Alt and dig away at it. If we do Control and Shift, normally we have this select rectangle, right? So Control Shift, you get a select rectangle. Remember, everything that's in the green is kept. Control Shift, tap to bring it back. So Control Shift, whatever's in the green is saved. Drag to invert. And then I could delete the rest, except it's a square. So what if I do, say, oh my goodness, we got so many choices. So we've got slice curve, we've got circles, so I've got a clip curve as well. So we've got clip, we've got a select lasso, so I could lasso the region and then it would be hidden, and then I could delete hidden and fill hole. So I'm going to try that. Just, I don't think that's the way I want to do it, but I'm holding down Control and Shift to get to my select rectangle. You click on the brush, you go lasso, and I'll bring back the image here. And when I hold down Shift and Control, I should be able to draw here, kind of carve this away a little bit. Okay, so it's kept that. So Control Shift drag to reverse it. I now have this hole here, but I've carved away the bits. So then I can go to geometry. I go down to modify topology. I say delete hidden. That hidden bit is now absolutely gone, not just hidden. And then right next to it here we have close hole. So I can close that hole up. And if you look at the mesh, Shift F, you can see that it closes it up in any old sort of random triangulated order. So if I go to the side here, let's just Shift P to bring back the image. You can see it's pretty close, right? I've kind of curved it away. The only thing is I need to redynamesh this to do that. So Control drag redynameshes. It gives me a nice mesh here. Now I've got two different poly groups. So I've got this breasty color and the green color. So I'm going to try and not have poly groups unless they're there for a reason, like multiple objects or whatever. So I'm going to come down to poly group in my menu and then just say auto group, and it's going to give it a color, and you can click that as many times as you want until you get a color you like. And then I can go in now with the clay buildup and carve away because I've kind of pulled away most of the crap, right? So B for clay buildup, size the brush down a little bit. And then I can hold down Alt and I can start to maybe get some of these, or Shift to kind of smooth out the border transitions that were there and kind of smooth that out. And I can maybe do that for all of this because we just really kind of lump this in. And this artifacting, that's just the mesh being drawn. So if you tumble, that should go away. Alt to kind of dig stuff away. I know that there should be like a groove in here next to this muscle here, and you can go Shift F if that bothers you and you want to be able to see what you're doing. So there's that. And Shift P, and then we can see, oh, well, there should be a wattle here, like a bit of skin there, and we can put this back in a little bit, and, you know, etc. Come to the front and go, oh, yeah, I can see that now. That's there. Maybe that should, oh, that's a mask. I want Alt. Yeah, so we can kind of build this up now, and then we can carve this area away. So Alt to carve this. Ooh, what happened there? Alt. There we go. Carve this away. So that's one way to do it. There is another way as well. So I'm going to do that on the back. So let me just kind of finish this a little bit. So I'm going to get some weird, because I'm removing. So Shift is a good thing here to smooth this out a bit. Trying to get rid of those this extreme ridge here. So Shift, really smooth that out, and then go back to Alt and carve that away. Carve, 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 muscle, carve, 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 carve. Go on. Remember, always on opposites too, right? Cross grain. Oh, that's a mask again. Keep Alt. I've gone quiet again here. Yeah. So pretty dramatic. I don't know what I'm doing really. I should be looking at the reference image, but you can see the reference image isn't great in this situation. Can barely see kind of what's going on here. So just going to keep carving away for now. Let's see what happens to the side here. Ooh, that's weird. I should probably get rid of that. That needs to be carved. That's going to make this muscle stand out. All right, so side view, Shift P. I want to do something similar on the back here. So instead of using, oh, I've really probably gone too far here. I'll use the move brush later. Yeah, so Control Shift, that was the lasso just to select an area, hide it, delete hidden. We also have, let's say, let's try the clip curve. So we've got a clip curve. So again, Control Shift, clip curve is up. And the clip curve is similar, except you can see it's kind of doing straight lines, and there's a shaded side. See, one side is shaded, the upper side is shaded, the other side's not, so I've gone from the wrong order. So Control Z, I need to go from the bottom up, because what's going to happen is everything on the shaded side is going to be removed, I think. And then how do you get a curve? Well, you get a curve by tapping the Alt key, and then you get like a point that you can then put in here. And if you double tap, you get a straight. See how that's a 90 degree? So double tap the Alt to get a straight one. And then here I would come out to about there and let go, and you can see it clips everything on the shaded side of that line. I'll show you a couple other things. So Control Shift, you start the line, you can move it. If you let go of the Alt and just do the Shift, it'll snap. If you let go of everything, it'll allow you to position. Spacebar will allow you to move the whole bar around. And let go, you can angle it, and then spacebar it and do whatever you need to do. So and then again, Control Shift, you start it, you tap Alt to get a curve, tap Alt, tap Alt, tap Alt to get one, double tap to do a straight line, double tap to do a 90-degree turn, tap once to get a Bezier, etc. So I just carved away that back, and then when I look at it, again, you see it does carve it in a really straight manner. So Shift F, you can see with this one, it just carves it away, and you don't have to fill a hole. There's no redynameshing that really has to happen. So the clip curve just kind of, what it actually does is it takes the, so let me just redynamesh this. Let's show you something obvious. Let's see. So if I zoom out here a bit, so Control Shift, clip curve, I'm going to go this way. So I'm just going to drag that across. Now I can let go of everything, just have the mouse on there to adjust the angle of this. Remember, spacebar will allow me to move the whole thing. Shift will snap it. And when I let go, it crops everything on the shaded side. But if I tumble and look, what it's done hasn't actually removed it, it's collapsed the topology. So I've got all this overlapping for the nose, you can see. So we've got the nose and it just flattens it. So it's not the greatest choice, actually. The clip curve isn't my favorite, just because of this flattening. You very rarely, I don't even know why it's here, why you'd want to collapse the mesh. I mean, it worked back here in a simple cut, but you wouldn't want to do something like this where you're taking all of the topology and collapsing it. Now you can go Control Drag to redynamesh it, but you're still left with these super thin, weird, you can see how they're sticking out because it literally just took the top of the head and crushed it down flat. So not my best, most favoritist choice. The other thing is the slice curve. The slice curve is way better. There's also a trim. So let's do slice first. So slice curve, Control Shift. It works pretty much the same. Click and drag and tap the Alt to get a curve, double tap to get a 90-degree. And again, you've got a shaded side and a non-shaded side. And again, spacebar will allow you to position the whole curve. And when you let go, everything on the shaded side will, well, nothing actually. So the clip curve is, I always get the naming cover. Slice curve will just slice your geometry and give you two new polygroups. So it's still one piece of geometry, but now we have the ability to Control Shift tap, Control Shift tap, Control Shift drag to, oops, I got to switch to the select rectangle to do that. So Control Shift drag to invert it, tap to bring it back. So what this does is it just allows us to break models up into polygroups after the fact, which is pretty useful. And then again, you could do something like, well, if I wanted to hide this top part or delete it, I could Control Shift tap the lower part, delete hidden, fill hole, you know, although in this case, filling the hole would make a real mess. So let me undo that. And then there's the trim. Oops, too far. One more forward. Nope, too far. There we go. And then the last one, Control Shift tap, is the trim curve. So trim curve, same deal, Control Shift drag, tap the Alt to get a soft one, double tap to get a 90-degree, spacebar will let you adjust. Everything on the shaded side will be trimmed away. Now this is like a combo. You see that it trimmed it and it filled it all in one step. So the trim is a little bit like the select plus delete hidden and then fill hole. So why would you do it that way when you could just use the trim? So Control drag will redynamesh. Ooh, doesn't want to dynamesh. Why are you not dynameshing? Let's make sure the dynamesh is still on. Geometry, dynamesh. Oh, for some reason it got turned off, so I'm turning it on. Control dragging, and you see that it redynameshes my trim. So once again, Control Shift, we have our regular old select rectangle, which is great. We have a lasso select, which we can use to do irregular selections. We have the clip curve, which is going to crush the topology down, so never really use the clip. We've got the slice curve, which doesn't actually remove any material, but allows us to have multiple polygroups. We can cut them all up into separate polygroups, which makes it easier to hide and show different areas. And then we have the one where if we did want to trim away some material, we should probably use the one that's trim. So trim curve is the one we want. But normally we want the select rectangle. So I've just reset it back now. So Control Shift is my select rectangle. So let me undo this now. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. So we're back, and it looks like we should be okay. I used the clip curve on the back, but because it was such a small bit of reduction, I think that's fine. It'll work. And now we are good to try and do some modeling here. Now it looks like I've really, so BMV to push these traps back in here. So size the brush up a bit more. And I want to push these in and down to try and get a bit more of the neck. Shape. Try the side view. Yeah. Looks alright, I guess. Pull this out a bit because I think I got carried away there, digging away at this. And size the brush down. To get that little bit out. Probably gonna have to use the clay buildup to kind of clean that up a little bit. So BCB, I can fill this in, and then Alt to trim this away. So again, just trying to put in features, rough them in. Oof, that looks horrible. So let's get this all working out for us. Probably should start to carve this away a little bit. This should kind of come out. Kind of get some shape here in the back of the skull going. Let's carve some of this away. I believe there's probably some spinal erector muscles here. Should probably get some reference, and you know, I think somewhere in here there's probably like a vertebra sticking out or something, right? Some muscles on either side. Try to get this kind of built out a little bit here on the bottom. And then carve it away, and then build it up, and then carve it away, and kind of work this a little bit. And then, right, trying to put in some basic structures here. A lot of these structures are from negative space, so gotta get used to carving stuff in. I don't know what's going on here. That is looking really weird. And again, I think what I'll do is, you know, it's pretty boring because now I'm just going to be using clay buildup and maybe the move brush a little bit to just try and make this look a little less horrible. So again, I'll just give it a pause and come back when I've done roughing it in. Okay, well, yeah, I can't say that I'm doing a good job. I've got another class to run to. So, yeah, just trying to, again, rough in basic structure. I'm going to need a bit more reference for the back of the neck here. Everything else looks to be like it's kind of more or less coming in pretty well. I think I'm missing some basic shape. I think the eye shape isn't quite right. It's a bit more kind of saggy in the eyes. My guy's a bit more propped up. So, but just looking at the neck and things, it's kind of getting there. Yeah, so basic structure there. Got the sternocleidomastoid, right? I've got the sternal head and the clavicular head here coming down. Again, I'm not sure. I need to get some more neck reference. I'm not 100% positive this is looking good, but basic structures there. Kind of coming in. I think his lips are a little bit off and his eyes, so a little bit more work on that. We'll leave this video here. It's 30 minutes. It's a long one. And then we'll come back and I'm going to work a bit on the eye, and we'll talk about how to do the eyeballs and the eyelids and stuff like that. So that's sort of the last feature of the head that we haven't done. So we want to have a separate subtool for the eyeballs, maybe talk about live booleans and insert brush again and things like that. And then we'll do a bit of cleanup around the eyes and around the mouth. And then, yeah, we'll probably be good to go to the next level. So anyway, that's it for this one. See you in the next one.